journey through leadership. I'm an Aries, and anytime you look up the traits of what an Aries is, it says a leader of all of the horoscopes. Now, I don't think that I was born a leader. I really credit my mom for developing me as a leader. As I was introduced as a little kid, she was the only parent in the household, and I remember every time I would walk out the door to go to school, she would look at me in the eye and she would say, "If you misbehave in school, my belt is going to misbehave when you get home." It was very impactful. On the opposite end of being a leader, Dwight Eisenhower once said, "You don't lead people by beating them over the head." They had differing opinions, but they're both very effective leaders. What I'm going to share with you today are 3 principles that I use in leadership. Number 1, lead from your position. Number 2, have valuable information to share. And number 3, set yourself up for success. I remember when I was in college, I wanted to be active in my community. And so I would help to feed the homeless, or I would create care packages to send overseas to help the troops overseas. And at that time, I was clearly poor, being a college student, but I used my position as being a community leader to really make sure that I was going to be impactful. Now, when I say lead from your position, you can all relate to this. All of you have someone at your job or maybe at a previous job. They don't have the title of the boss, but they're very respected. They may be the most knowledgeable. Maybe they've been there longer than the boss. Can anybody relate to that? They've known someone very respected. That person leads from their position, and I encourage all of you today to lead from your position. Number 2, having a valuable message. As was stated earlier, I coached football while I was in college. And I remember the day before my very first practice, I was so scared to go in front of the team because I thought that I was going to run out of things to talk about. I wanted to make sure that anytime I'm in front of someone that I'm leading, that I have valuable information. So what I did to prepare is I wrote out 5 pages front and back of notes to talk to my players about. I never want to get in front of somebody and waste their time. I did learn not to overburden someone, but it was a very valuable lesson for myself. On the opposite side of that, have you known anyone, a boss specifically, that wasted your time? They didn't give you clear instructions. Maybe they didn't know all the details that they needed for a project. How frustrating is that when you get in front of somebody and they don't have a clear value or clear purpose, direction on where they're going? It's very frustrating, at least for me anyway. And number 3, setting yourself up for success. I learned this when I was in college. I had a guidance counselor, and his name was Cole Jordan. Cole Jordan had a vision that in his community, he wanted to mentor middle school students to get into high school and then ultimately go on to college. And I was one of those college students that helped to mentor the middle school students. At the same time, he would hold seminars for the college students so that we could learn about our history and culture and be more enriched. He was creating an ecosystem, something that could feed off of itself and improve itself. The other component to that was we would do volunteer work. So in watching Cole Jordan set us up for success and set up his community for success, I developed that in my leadership habits. So as a manager for U-Haul, with all of my employees, I make sure that not only do they have all the materials that they need when they show up to work, but also that they have all the valuable information on procedures that they need so that they never feel as though they're being shorted on doing their job. And furthermore, on occasion, there may be someone that needs emotional support, and I also make sure that I give them all the tools that they need to be set up for success. So I encourage all of you going forward today to lead from whatever position you're in. And whether you lead, as my mom did, with a heavy hand, or like Dwight Eisenhower did, with tact and skill, I encourage all of you to lead. Thank you.
All right, good.